I can't really speak for private school kids, but public school was horrendous. American public school, they trash it in every teen movie. You see memes about it on social media, fight videos. Let's start this video off by saying that I used to walk to school until 2nd grade. It was just a few blocks down. My parents would walk me down to school, but then we moved and I started riding the bus, which if you didn't know, if you've never rode the bus in elementary school and middle school, the bus itself is a social circle. When you are talking to somebody and they bring somebody up, you could say, oh yeah, that guy rides my bus. I mean, there was so much stuff going on the bus. Like people were throwing shit, roast sessions were going off.
She finna Who is this nigga? Big shoe, little jeans ass nigga, big coat ass nigga, little head ass nigga, little nose ass nigga, little chin ass nigga.
I remember almost every nook and cranny of public school lore. Does anybody remember Tweeties? I'm not even gonna show it on the screen until I start describing it because I want people to actually go back and remember this. Or if you don't remember it, I want you to be confused for a second. A Tweety, there was an art to a Tweety. So you take a rubber band and you make somewhat of a slingshot with the rubber band in between your index and your thumb. Then you take a piece of paper and you fold it up in such a way that you can put it on the rubber band, pull it back and shoot it. And it actually hurt. It actually went pretty far. And you could get in big trouble in public schools for this. So it was kind of like an art. Making it was an art and getting away with it was an art. I went to an inner city public school, liberal. We didn't even have dodgeball at my public school. And I respect the PE teachers for doing everything they can to try to splice in mini games that were like dodgeball. There was kickball where you could throw the ball at a runner to get him out. There was this game I really like called lane ball, which is just kickball, but it's one base on the opposite side of the kicking mound. And in between that base and the kicking mound was a lane that the runner wasn't able to get out of. And you're supposed to throw the ball at the runner, which obviously the nerdy kids didn't like, which I don't know why they're taking PE in the first place since it's not mandatory past 6th grade. But no dodgeball, not even with foam balls that don't even hurt. I think it's because it promoted bullying. But my point is that if a teacher caught you with this, you could easily get suspended. You're gonna poke a kid's eye out with that. Okay, have you ever considered that maybe that kid has bad vibes? Did you ever consider that that kid might deserve it? While girls were making their fortune tellers and whatnot, the boys were armed up. You had the classic spitball, but those are just gross. Tweety's actually bruised. This is the only thing I could find looking up Tweety rubber band. But then I found out that some people call them paper bullets or hornets or hornetry. Wild things were going on in specifically elementary and middle school. A lot of people just tamed down in high school, and instead of doing these creative ways to pick on somebody, they just beat their ass. Man, in public school bathrooms, I've seen a lot of people on this website already talk about it. Prominently, mostly black YouTubers talking about it, and they're right. Public school bathrooms is like the gulag of public school. You lost the fight with your intestines, you lost your fight with that spicy chicken sandwich you ate 2 hours ago. You are entering public school gulag. Now for real, if you wanted to get to class on time, you're gonna have to fight for your life. Okay, it wasn't that bad, let's be real. Except for during lunch. During lunch, or if there was some kind of scheduled event. Every time you see a high school fight video, where is it recorded? That's right, the bathroom. Not only was there people fighting in the bathroom, bro, I swear there was a referee and everything. You'd have some dude in the center, and in this corner. I remember people were fighting in the bathroom, they didn't even have beef. We had something called bodies. I'm sure it still exists today. It's where you just fight, but nobody punches each other in the face. No slamming. Just body shots. This could be done to settle beef if you guys don't want to actually get into a dangerous fight. You just want to see, make somebody your bitch basically. I mean, people were doing this for no reason. You would have best friends fight like they hate each other, but just hitting each other in the chest. But I feel one thing people don't talk about is how much worse the boys' locker room is than the boys' bathroom. Okay, sure, you're in a stall pooping and you hear some people bumping into the stall, or the classic, hey yo, this guy taking a shit. But have you ever just been hit in the head by a deodorant stick or a shoe thrown by somebody that wasn't even aiming at you, that didn't even know you existed, across the locker room? I remember, bro. I remember vividly. People would just randomly throw things in the locker room just to throw it. I also remember the locker rooms having a shower for no reason, because who would shower at school? That's just setting yourself up for failure. Why would you want to be butt-ass naked at school? You just prayed that you didn't have PE at the beginning of the day and you had it at the end. But even then, I guess everybody else is gonna have to put up with my stank because I'm not gonna get caught lacking like that, bro. Now, usually you just put on a stick of deodorant and you're fine, but that reminds me, everybody at school had that one guy, or maybe even two guys, that smelled like absolute ass. Like, no matter what that kid did, it just didn't work. Like, the stick of deodorant got, like, disintegrated every time I stuck it under their armpit. I remember this one kid in middle school even got clowned on by a teacher for smelling so bad. And if you didn't have that kid or didn't know about that kid, I got bad news for you, bro. It was you. I feel like every middle school also had that guy that was borderline grown up. Maybe that was just my middle school. This guy didn't even go to my middle school. I remember hanging out with some friends at a girls' basketball game after school one day, and this guy pulls up. He was rumored to have been held back like 2 grades or something, and I assume that to be true because he was driving in the 8th grade, and he pulled up to the basketball game and confronted this guy that I was sitting near. It was one of those "I heard you was talking stuff" type of confrontations, which I don't know why you would trash talk this guy when he's basically a grown-ass man, or what we perceived to be a grown-ass man. The guy that got called out didn't escalate it, immediately apologized, which everybody expected because, I mean, this guy's hulking over you. What else are you gonna do? And I honestly kind of felt bad for him. My freshman year, I played football and I ended up running into this guy. I don't know how your high school football was, but in mine, there was 3 categories: freshman, JV, and then varsity. So maybe he actually wasn't held back. I mean, despite looking like a 17-year-old, this guy was playing freshman football. We were on kickoff and the ball immediately went to him. I was the first line of defense, and luckily I only got stiff-armed because I probably would have died. Okay, but who remembers Happy Crack? I think this is a lost art because public schools try to shut it down so fast for no reason because it's not actual real crack. I mean, it's kind of obvious that middle school and elementary schoolers aren't going to have real crack on them. What it was literally Kool-Aid without the water. You would have your Kool-Aid sugar mixed with actual sugar and they would just eat it like that. Yeah, diabetes in a sandwich bag, and then kids would sell it for like 50 cents. It got shut down pretty quickly by public schools for quote-unquote emulating drugs. But then kids found out another way of doing weird stuff that's semi-drug related to sugar. Smoking Smarties. I've seen Speed do this. I've seen people do this. It's still alive today. Some crackheads snorted them. I was pretty good at it. You just gotta smash one side of the Smarties, slightly unravel that side that you smashed on, inhale it, but don't inhale it into your lungs. Just hold it in your mouth and just blow it out. I remember the large range of bartering items you had in middle and elementary school. You had like your Yu-Gi-Oh and Pokemon cards. Those were standard. Silly bands were a thing. Tech decks were a thing. Those like rubber armband things were slightly a thing when I was in elementary school, but I think silly bands took them over. Bakugan, man, that was pretty cringe, but that was a thing. Call me a freak, bro, but that public school lunch really wasn't that bad. I don't know what you guys were having. I didn't even go to like a bougie school. I'm just saying those chicken nuggets and mashed potatoes was slapping. Obviously, it's not gourmet shit, but it's not the goy slop you guys made it out to be. I mean, yeah, sure, there was some days where it actually was some goy slop, but you could always substitute it out for one of these peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. Every school I went to had this option. That peanut butter and jelly with the chocolate milk and some fresh fruit, bro, that was a good lunch. Sometimes you would have tater tots, wedge potatoes, a cookie. When I talk to a lot of people about middle school, I realized that they never had recess in middle school. Was I the only one that had recess in middle school? I mean, it wasn't your classic recess like you go out to a playground or anything. For some reason, they just sent us out to a parking lot. It was like some unused parking lot behind the school. There was a rundown basketball court too. ROTC kids, man. They're actually pretty cool. I was friends with a lot of ROTC kids, but there is that one guy that takes it way too seriously and gives a bad name for everybody. Like, it's some kid that looks like he's on the spectrum and thinks being in the ROTC actually means he's in the army, and you gotta like respect him for this or something. Trust me, when that kid was around the normal ROTC kids, you could see the shame in their eyes. Like, you could see their eyes are like, man, don't lump me in with this kid. I just wanna... Wait, what do ROTC kids get? It's like some scholarships or something to the army? Or can we for real talk about some of the teachers that actually had beef with some students? That is so weird, especially in elementary and middle school. I can kind of understand high school where the kids are slightly grown up, but 12-year-old kids, bro? You got beef with a 12-year-old? I had this 5th grade teacher, and usually he's a pretty chill teacher, but he'd have those days. And I was talking to the kid sitting next to me while he was talking. You know teachers don't like that, so he uses that one tactic. Repeat to me what I just said. I word for word, bar for bar, said exactly what he said. And he hits me with the, that's not what I said. What? That's what I thought. You weren't listening. Congratulations, bro. You gaslit an 11-year-old in front of the entire class. Okay, I got a confession to make. I gotta make this confession in order to progress the story. So, in elementary school, I joined a chess club because I thought being a part of a team at such a young age was so cool, and I wanted to make contributions to the team, so I actually got decent at it. But then in middle school, being on the chess club really isn't the most socially accepted thing. As a middle schooler, I realized that. However, my mom didn't, and she made me play at the tournaments every Saturday because she didn't want me to back out of a commitment, even though I really wasn't that committed to it. But since my school didn't have a chess club, I was able to keep it on the DL. However, in 7th grade, my school actually did get a chess club, and somehow the coach found out that I was playing. And one day, I found an invitation taped to my locker door asking me to join the chess club. That was pretty embarrassing. Now, where the story relates is that in pre-algebra, my math class, I acted up a lot. I was like sort of a class clown type of guy, and it pissed the teacher off. So one day, the teacher somehow found out, and during the downtime of the class, you know, everybody's all packed up, bell's about to ring, we got like 5 minutes, everybody's just chatting. The teacher looks at me and is like, "So, I heard you play chess. Could you maybe teach my son sometime?" And everybody's just like staring at me at that point. Bro, I never wanted to smack a teacher more than that moment. Well, there was that